Tonight at 5, the polls show many Wisconsin races are too close to call. It all comes down to tomorrow's election, how poll watchers are helping everything run smoothly.
Did you buy your tickets? Tonight's Powerball drawing could make one lucky person a billionaire. We'll tell you how much you could win.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. There are only a few hours left until Election Day, when Wisconsin's highest offices are up for grabs.
With many races too tight to call, every vote will be crucial. Helping things run smoothly will be hundreds of poll workers, election observers, and inspectors. Our Tahlil Moeddin looked into what it takes to be a poll watcher and joins us now with more on how you can still get involved. Tahlil?
Election officials say anyone can be a poll worker so long as they're not a candidate, and you can do that right up until Election Day. To sign up, all you need to do is check in with a valid ID, sign an election, observe a log, and put on a badge. It's a role chairman of the Republican Party of Dane County, Scott Graven, says a lot of their members who are looking for transparency are taking on this election.
That doesn't mean that you're always looking for something nefarious. It could be very simple. It could be honest mistakes. It could be, somebody who, has a friend that comes in and, in that case, like, no, I don't need to see your ID or something.
He says over the last several months, they've been training poll watchers on what to look for to make sure proper voting procedures are being followed. Tonight at 6, we'll have more on what poll watchers will be looking out for, and additionally have more on the rules they have to follow. For now, reporting live, Tahlil Moeddin, News 3 Now.
Tahlil, thank you. Today on Election Eve, early voting was closed across Wisconsin.
About 750,000 people have cast their vote early statewide. Naomi Coles breaks down the results in Dane County. Naomi?
Just under 1 in 3 registered voters in Dane County have already voted. That's a sharp decrease from 2020, when 2 out of 3 registered voters had cast their ballot before Election Day. Some context here: there is less concern about the pandemic now than in 2020, meaning more people may plan to vote in person tomorrow. Plus, midterm turnout is traditionally lower than general elections, albeit in Dane County, turnout in 2018's midterm was only 1 percentage point less than 2020 turnout. Now, around Wisconsin, several other counties have cast tens of thousands of votes early. In blue leading Milwaukee County, almost 1 in 4 registered voters have cast their ballot so far. In red leading Waukesha County, the 3rd largest in the state, 27% of registered voters have already voted. And then in battleground Kenosha County, about 1 in 5 registered voters have cast their ballot. All night tomorrow, I'll be monitoring results like these throughout Wisconsin and explaining the role that key counties will play in political victories as those results come in throughout the night.
Naomi, thank you. A Wisconsin lawmaker, a veterans group, and other voters have filed a lawsuit to sequester absentee and mail-in military ballots. The lawsuit comes after a now former elections official in Milwaukee County was charged with fraudulently requesting military ballots using fake names. Kimberly Zapata is now facing felony misconduct and voter fraud charges. The lawsuit seeks a temporary injunction requiring elections officials to set aside military ballots to verify their authenticity. In Wisconsin, military voters are not required to register to vote, meaning that they don't need to provide a photo ID to request an absentee ballot. The Wisconsin Elections Commission says military ballots on average represent about 0.07% of all absentee ballots. As of last week, more than 2,700 military ballots had been requested. To weather now, let's get a check at your certified most accurate forecast. Julian has a little bit of everything in the forecast this week. Hi, Julian.
Hey, and that's right. We do have a bit of everything. It's a mixed bag as we get in throughout the rest of our work week. But for today, just note it's going to be chilly, but we do at least have a beautiful sunset for us, thanks to the little bit of cloud cover that we have here in Madison. Now, continuing throughout the rest of tonight, the cloud cover that we're seeing now will start to clear up a bit more, especially as we get into the closer hour of midnight. But outside outside of that, temperatures will fall into the mid-30s and be pretty stable into that range as we get into the rest of tonight and heading into our Tuesday morning. Now, taking a look around Dane County, mid to upper 30s is what we're going to be watching for throughout much of Dane County, and for the rest of southern Wisconsin, it's pretty similar for us. 34 degrees will be our low for us tonight in Madison, with around 38 degrees over towards Janesville and 36 in Fort Platteville. So the middle to upper 30s, again, what we're watching for is going to be another chilly night for us. But folks, we are having every season this week. That's why we had to really show just from the fall, the winter, and even some summer-like type of weather for us. And we'll break it all down and how it's going to be impacting you coming up in just a few moments. Until then, back to you guys.
All right, Julian, thank you. Every campaign faces difficult choices from time to time, when to spend money and when to pull back.
Well, that kind of decision left some Democrats in western Wisconsin disappointed. National funding to support Brad Pfaff's congressional run dried up. Political reporter Will Keneally has more on the state's most competitive House race in this election.
So it can be kind of a catch-22 for Democrats in western Wisconsin. Would they rather have a Democrat representing them in Congress or a Democratic majority in the House passing legislation? And that calculation is at the heart of this 3rd congressional district question.
It's like a fascinating study in how the incentives for the House of Representatives are different than the incentives for the state of Wisconsin.
For Democrats, you could try to win the House,
but that could come at quite a cost for Democrats in the state of Wisconsin.
The 3rd congressional district is Wisconsin's most competitive House race this year, but it is likely flipping to the Republicans after 2 decades under Democrat Ron Kind. Forecasting site 538 predicts Republican Derek Van Orden to win the seat, likely by 5 percentage points. And because of that, national spending on the 3rd CD race moved on elsewhere this fall.
I think the real giveaway here was that the House Majority PAC pulled its advertising purchase. And they're going to make highly strategic decisions regarding where they think their resources are best used.
For Democrats looking to win back the House, there are closer races to spend their money on.
I don't think the grassroots here in the 3rd CD was really expecting like a ton of support. Well, of course, we would love help from the national stuff. We also weren't expecting it, so it's not like we're discouraged not to have it.
The chair of the La Crosse County Democrats says they do get some local help, though.
We're really the only purple district. And so in that sense, the state party really does focus a lot of time and energy on the 3rd CD.
And that's important for Democrats. Tergosky points out that western Wisconsin is a swingy part of the state. This could impact statewide races.
If Democrats are not turning out the vote in western Wisconsin, then that could have really important implications for the outcomes of the race for governor and Senate.
So as we look ahead to tomorrow, the 3rd district could be one of those key indicators. Even a close win for Republicans in the 3rd CD could point to a good year still for Democrats.
Will, thank you. It is the last day for candidates to campaign ahead of tomorrow's election. Gubernatorial candidate Tim Michels and Senator Ron Johnson hit the campaign trail, stopping in multiple cities throughout the state. In Janesville, Senator Johnson was joined by his wife, supporters, and former South Carolina Republican Governor Nikki Haley, who has come under fire recently for saying the Democratic candidate for Senate in Georgia, Raphael Warnock, should be deported. Senator Johnson thanked his supporters and asked voters to bring as many people as they can to the polls to participate in the elections.
I don't care what you did in the 2020 election. If you did a lot or if you did a little, I'm asking you to do more. And quite honestly, I'm asking you to do a lot more. If you took 6 people to the polls in 2020, take a couple dozen.
Well, a Johnson win would help Republicans as they seek to gain a majority in the U.S. Senate.
On the other side, Governor Tony Evers and U.S. Senate candidate Mandela Barnes spoke to voters at the Wisconsin Workers' Rights Rally. The two rallied with union leaders, elected officials, and other Democratic candidates, including Attorney General Josh Kaul. They, too, talked about the importance of voting and making your voices heard. An Evers win would put him in position to still block the Republican-controlled legislature unless the GOP achieves a supermajority in both the Assembly and Senate. As the Latino population grows across Wisconsin, it's left both political parties campaigning for their vote.
Diego Ramos Bachara traveled to Milwaukee to hear from them.
El voto latino decidirá. The Latino vote will decide. A chant that echoed across Milwaukee's South Side. We want people who will support us, and we want to cause change. In this predominantly Hispanic neighborhood, Latino voters, young and old, want to make their voices heard in the midterm elections.
We have a lot of other options: canvassing, phone banking. We need you. We need you. I need you.
The rallying issue? Immigration.
The main issue that I'm voting for is immigration reform.
Christine Neumann Ortiz is Voces de la Frontera Action's executive director, a progressive group working to mobilize Latino voters.
Our allegiance is to the community, and our allegiance is to the dreamers, to the essential workers, to the Latino people of color.
She endorses Democrat Mandela Barnes for the U.S. Senate.
That's all I needed.
To talk directly. So he has a very strong record of supporting immigrant rights. His platform right now is that he has strong support for immigration reform with a path to citizenship for 11 million.
Wisconsin's Latino population is growing. State data shows they've grown by 46.8% since the 2000 census, a rate nearly 10 times faster than the state's overall population. In 2020, Latinos for the first time were Wisconsin's largest minority group, making up 7.1% of the population. This has left Republicans and Democrats alike vying for their vote. Heller Tosti is the founder of Operación Vamos. It's an outreach initiative sponsored by the National Republican Senatorial Committee to turn out Latino voters in key battleground states.
About if there's problems that they're seeing in their community, to actually do something about it, Yeah, for sure. But I want to give information. I'm actually here. Hispanic issues are American issues, right? They're worried about what everyone else is worried about. They're worried about, can they feed their families? Is their job good? Are they safe?
For Tosti, that means supporting incumbent Senator Ron Johnson. Sentiments echoed by Mario Herrera, a Republican voter from Waukesha.
But if you remove that from the equation, whether you're Democrat or Republican, your bottom dollar is being affected. If you have to maintain a family, when you have to put food on the table, that's what's going to drive you to vote in this upcoming election.
The overarching goal of Operación Voces? To increase Latino voter turnout, shining a spotlight on the population. But the work on the ground in Milwaukee is far from over. According to a Pew Research study, only 40% of Hispanic voters cast a ballot in the last midterm elections. That's out of a total eligible population of 183,000 voters. And for context, that's a much lower turnout than that of black and white voters. Only time will tell if come Tuesday, the Hispanic voting bloc has become a force to be reckoned with. For News 3 Now, I'm Diego Ramos Bachara.
It is the final push before millions head to the polls to determine the balance of power in Washington. In this last sprint, candidates across the country are making their closing pitches, with 3 presidents stumping this weekend. Democrats are currently working to maintain their slim majority in the Senate, where 35 of the 100 Senate seats are on the ballot. In the House, all 435 seats are on the ballot. News 3 Now has everything you need to know about Election Day. Our live coverage begins tomorrow on News 3 Now this morning and will run through tomorrow night as the votes are being counted.
We'll share the latest results in real time for the biggest races in your area. And you can also find more information on where to vote, what to bring with you to the polls. That's all at channel3000.com. Just click on the banner at the top of our homepage. Coming up, what does the Election Day forecast have in store for us? Julian will have the latest.
Plus, get your tickets soon if you want a chance to win tonight's historic Powerball drawing. Find out how much money you could take home when we return. And later, making it to the polls during a work or school day can sometimes be challenging. That's why one area college is making sure its campus community has no excuses. That story and more tonight at 6.
And on Wall Street, the Dow climbs almost 424 points. The NASDAQ adds 89. S&P jumps 36 1/4. We'll be right back.
Did you know Tim Michels pledged to rig future elections?
Republicans will never lose another election in Wisconsin after I'm elected governor.
He'll try to overthrow the will of the people. Is that the kind of divisive radical you want as governor?
This Greek food looks fantastic. Where did you find this place?
Well, I researched online. They had the best reviews everywhere I looked.
Wow, well, the reviews were right. See any other companies we need to try?
Well, now that you mention it, we do need to replace our bathtub.
We have been putting it off. Who should we use?
Mad City.
Mad City?
That's right, Mad City. They have lots of 5-star ratings on every review site.
Mad City Baths is Wisconsin's #1 remodeler for baths, showers, and walk-in tubs, installed in as little as 1 day. Plus now, it's Black Friday all month at Mad City. Call during this program and double your savings. Save $1,500 on a new bath or shower. Double it to 4 years interest-free financing, and double your bonus to a $500 Mad City gift card with purchase. From Madison throughout South Central Wisconsin, call 608-729-4466. That's 608-729-4466.
I see your hard work, everything you do to try to make it. But people continue to be left behind. I'm running for Senate to put more money in your pocket. Ron Johnson's had 12 years to make things better, but costs are still rising, and all he's managed to do is write a tax cut for himself. I believe better is possible. I believe hard work can pay off, and I'll never stop fighting until it does. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Save today with 11% off everything at Menards. Give your bathroom a fresh update with Delta. Their bathtubs and showers are built for style, design, and durability. All Delta tubs and showers are 11% off. Save big on adhesives from Loctite. They have the strongest and most durable construction adhesives that you can buy. Use it anywhere and get your projects done. Right now, all Loctite adhesives are 11% off at Menards.
Save big money at Menards. Did you know Tim Michaels wants to criminalize abortion, even for pregnant rape victims?
But you wouldn't support exceptions for rape or incest?
That's correct.
Is that the kind of divisive radical you want as your governor?
With many tight and heated political races, we analyze the latest early voting numbers. How do they compare to years prior? Then poll watchers for both parties will be present on Election Day. What it means for you when you cast your vote, that's tonight on News 3 Now at 6.
We wanted to create an inclusive environment,
bringing together families and kids with special needs at a special place where they can play and be themselves. Charlotte DeLeste takes you inside Madison's new Keep Calm Sensory Zone tonight at 10. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Welcome back. Well, if you want a chance to win, you'll have to buy a lottery ticket. It is a record breaker tonight for the Powerball. An estimated $1.9 billion up for grabs.
It is the largest lotto prize ever offered. Ivan Rodriguez breaks down how much you could take home.
What would you do if you won almost $2 billion?
What would I do? I definitely would quit my job and travel.
Charities and definitely take care of my family.
I don't even know. That's just a life-changing amount of money.
That could be the reality for someone or someones by 11 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. With no top prize winners for the last 40 drawings, Monday night's Powerball has the biggest jackpot in lottery history, an expected $1.9 billion. The odds of winning matching all 5 numbers and the Powerball are almost 1 in 300 million. But before you start making your list of exactly how you would spend it, there are a few things to consider. The jackpot amount is what you would take home before taxes if you choose to get 30 equal payments of $63 million over the next 29 years. If you decide to take the cash option in one lump sum, you'd get about $929 million. However, the IRS takes 24% right off the top, plus it's possible the state you win in gets a cut. Annuity payments are always bigger than the cash value because the lottery sponsor invests your winnings over time, which mature and earn interest annually. And the recent federal interest rates are actually causing that value to increase. But whatever you choose to do tomorrow after you win the jackpot, it's enough for you and your favorite coworkers to retire on.
Probably do the payout so I can help my family and help people in need and volunteer.
In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
And Julian joins us now with the all-important Election Day forecast tomorrow. Julian?
And the good news is it is going to be rather quiet for us and a little bit milder than what it was for today. Now, let's take a look at the surface map as of right now. We have a high-pressure system over the upper Midwest, which has kept things rather quiet and pleasant throughout the day, even though it is a bit chilly thanks to those east-northeasterly winds that we've been dealing with, thanks to the colder air from Canada, which has also been bringing and spawning a bit of some snow for parts of Minnesota and starting to leak into some of the far northwest of Wisconsin. But for us in southern Wisconsin, we're not going to be worrying about snow, at least just yet. We're going to start to see temperatures rise throughout the course of the next few days as we're all going to see a warm front start to lift into the upper Midwest. But for tonight, it's going to be still rather chilly. 34 degrees in Madison with 38 in Janesville and about 36 degrees over for Platteville. Going into tomorrow, it's going to be a little milder. We're around the lower 50s for us here in Madison, 55 for Janesville, and over towards Platteville, going to be seeing around 54 degrees as well. So the middle 50s are what we're going to be looking at heading into tomorrow, but cloud cover is also going to take way as we get into our Tuesday afternoons. As you're heading out the door, it's still going to be rather chilly, but around lunchtime, we're going to start to see a shift in the winds, bringing in a bit more warmer air. So we're going to be into the lower 50s, but also a bit of some cloud cover as well. We'll start to see a break in once we get into around the 5 p.m. commute. And then as we get into our Tuesday night, north of us, we'll start to see some showers developing. But for us, we're going to stay rather dry until we get into the early hours of our Wednesday morning, where a couple of isolated showers could start to spawn up as we are looking at a bit more milder temperatures, especially as we're heading out the door. We're going to be into the upper 40s in some areas into the 50s, specifically between the Platteville and for Janesville. And us here in Madison going to be into those upper 40s as we're going to see those southerly winds really starting to move its way in for us, which is also going to be developing plenty of moisture and on top of it, much more milder temperatures. We're going to be back into the mid-60s by the time we get into our Wednesday afternoon, and especially heading into our Wednesday evening is going to hold firm. Now, one thing to watch for is that overnight, we're going to be looking to potentially set a record warm low for us as temperatures are not going to be breaking out of the 60s or even the upper 50s. So by the time we head into our Thursday, it is already going to start off mild and just get milder by the time we get into the afternoon. But until then, our first system's not going to be producing too much in terms of rainfall. Really going to be looking at trace amounts or not even measurable. But once we get into our Thursday afternoon, that's when we're going to be seeing the peak warmth for us here in Madison, in southern Wisconsin. Until then, we're also going to be looking at some real cold heading into this week. One thing we're going to be watching for as a first warn is not just the rain, but potentially could see some snow coming into our Friday morning, which is going to be bringing in some winter-like conditions after we have late September-like conditions heading into our Thursdays. So we're looking for some thunderstorms to start to develop heading into our Thursday night. And then once we get into Friday morning, potentially could see some flurries, and then it's going to be cold, cold, cold heading into the weekend and for next week as well. Taking a quick look at our traffic as of right now, we did have an accident just outside of Whitney Way, but that is cleared up, even though we are still looking at some slow spots onto the Beltline. But taking a look at the interstates, we are all green and smooth as butter as we're getting into the rest of our 5 p.m. commutes. It's going to do it for our traffic and weather. Back to you guys.
Julian, thank you. Just ahead at 5, if you're looking for an investment hedge against inflation, some things to know about Treasury bonds. They've been popular lately. The story coming up.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
From single living to growing families and empty nesters, Mad City Baths can help you design the perfect bathroom to fit your lifestyle and needs. Whether it's a new bathtub, a walk-in shower with grab bars and handhelds, or even a new walk-in tub, we install in as little as 1 day, backed with a double lifetime labor warranty. It's Black Friday all November at Mad City. Save $750 on a new bath or shower with interest-free financing for 2 years and get a $250 Mad City gift card with purchase. But listen to this. Call during this program and we'll double your savings. Save $1,500 on a new bath or shower with 4 years interest-free financing and double your bonus. Receive a $500 Mad City gift card with your bath or shower purchase. From Madison throughout South Central Wisconsin, call 608-729-4466. That's 608-729-4466.
As governor, I'll always try to do the right thing. I've worked with both parties to find middle ground to improve and invest in our public schools, cut income taxes, and put our state on solid financial footing. But here's what I won't do. I won't cut public school funding. I won't be Donald Trump's puppet, and I'll never allow radical politicians to make decisions about abortion. That should be left to women and their doctors. I'm Tony Evers, and I'm asking for your vote.
I brought in Ensure Max Protein with 30 grams of protein.
Those who tried me felt more energy in just 2 weeks. Here, I'll take that.
Ensure Max Protein with 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and nutrients for immune health.
In every corner of our state, Wisconsinites feel the impact of a changing climate, from the effects on our crops and livestock to the damage to our roads and highways. That's why Governor Tony Evers has a plan to take action and protect our state. It will get Wisconsin to 100% clean energy, lower power bills, grow our local economies, and create more than 40,000 jobs right here in Wisconsin. Tony Evers, focused on doing the right thing for Wisconsin families.
I'd like to thank our sponsor, Liberty Mutual. They customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. Contestants ready? Go! Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
It was Halloween. My daughter stopped at 3 homes, her girlfriend's house, her teacher's house, and the man that murdered her. He molested her and he put her in a garbage bag. He was going to be released in 2018. Josh called. He was not there for me at all. You want some help to find out what's going on, and he doesn't help. He don't care about the victims. I know Eric Toney does. Eric Toney helped keep that man that murdered my daughter from being released. Eric Toney's always been there for me, and that's the kind of attorney general we need.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
One way that Americans are trying to beat inflation is growing so much that demand crashed a government website.
And now the Treasury Department has issued a new rate for Series 1 bonds, meaning you can still get a return on inflation-protected bonds. The department will pay 6.89% through April of next year. Now that's down from the bond's previous high of 9.62%.
The Treasury said from November of 2021 till October 28th, when the deadline for that 9.62% rate expired, $35 billion in money flowed into I-bonds. So that's people with money.
Now, if you decide to invest in these bonds, there are some downsides. You can't cash it out for at least 1 year. It takes 5 years to get the total amount of interest, and the rate could come down as the Fed continues to take action to try and lower inflation. We'll have a final check of your First Warn forecast after a short break.
Tired of that old, outdated bathtub? A beautiful new walk-in shower is just a phone call away. Mad City Baths is your trusted local source for custom bath solutions installed in as little as 1 day. Enjoy easy access, plus easy cleaning. Choose from premium wall colors, including Santa Cruz, Othello, and Quartz. If you've been on the fence about updating your bathroom, remember it's Black Friday all month at Mad City. Save $750 with interest-free financing for 2 years and get a $250 Mad City gift card with purchase. But last chance to call during this program and double your savings. Save $1,500 on a new bath or shower. Double it to 4 years interest-free financing, and we'll double your bonus. Receive a $500 Mad City gift card with purchase. From Madison throughout South Central Wisconsin, call 608-729-4466. That's 608-729-4466.
Aren't you tired of the division and the anger? I know I sure am. Our country faces enormous challenges. I promise I'll do everything I can to help make things better, and I'll always tell you the truth. What continues to give me hope are the kind and decent people I meet all over Wisconsin. People who love America and are willing to work hard to unify and heal it. Please join us. I'm Ron Johnson. I approve this message, and I'm asking for your vote.
He pushed tax loopholes benefiting himself. Send him back, and he'll make things worse. Ron Johnson would let Wisconsin ban abortion, even in cases of rape, and said if you don't like it, you can move. He voted to raise the retirement age and wants to end guaranteed spending on the Social Security you earned.
Social Security is a legal Ponzi scheme, but that's exactly what it is.
Ron Johnson, still making it harder on us. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Radical Tim Michaels is extremely divisive.
I don't care who I offend.
And at his company, the culture comes from the top. Multiple court filings say women were sexually assaulted, harassed, and pressured to have sex with their bosses.
If she refused demands for sex, she would be blackballed from working on a pipeline job.
Higher-ups dismissed the women as liars and fired those who spoke out.
I don't care who I offend.
That's how Tim Michaels runs his company. Don't let him run our state.
Think crime is bad now? Mandela Barnes would make it worse. Barnes would eliminate cash bail even after the Waukesha Christmas parade attack, supports amnesty and sanctuary cities for illegals, and had worked for a radical group that wants to defund the police. Barnes has a long record of smearing police while spending your tax dollars on security for himself. Mandela Barnes, wrong on crime, dangerous for Wisconsin. Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Coming up right here on the CBS Evening News, the final pitch to voters on the eve of the midterm elections as Republicans grow increasingly optimistic they could take back the House and the Senate. We'll look at the key races that could determine the political agenda in America for the next 2 years. That's coming up from here at our election headquarters.
Julian's back. Final check of the forecast.
Well, the good news is Election Day is not going to have any issues from the weather. It's still going to be rather cool, but we are going to be warming back up to late September-like feels by Thursday, and a mixed bag of precipitation is going to be leading into our Friday morning, where we could see our first snowflakes around here, and then it's cold heading into the weekend and for next week.
All right, Julian, thank you. Of course, CBS Evening News coming your way next. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned.